Welcome back to my Grammar the Big Picture 4-sentence structures series. This is the third in this video series, although it's the second one about sentence structures. The first video in the series explored the differences between phrases, independent clauses, and dependent clauses. The second video talked about simple sentences and compound sentences, as well as coordinate conjunctions. This video will explore complex sentences and the compound complex sentences, or you can say complex compound sentences. A complex sentence has exactly one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. They may be put in any order. For example, when the birds are singing, my dog is barking puts the dependent clause first. Because it's first, there must be a comma after the dependent clause. My dog is barking is a complete thought. When the birds are singing is incomplete because we don't have enough information. It's incomplete because of the subordinate conjunction when. There are numerous subordinate conjunctions, which I note as SC. I've put some examples of subordinate conjunctions, or SCs, such as if, as well as, though, and like. What's important to note here is that when these subordinate conjunctions come after an independent clause, you do not put a comma in front of them. At least 90% of the time, you should not put a comma in front of a subordinate conjunction. On the other hand, you do need to put a comma in front of a coordinate conjunction when it connects two or more independent clauses. This formula is not exactly visually correct because the subordinate conjunction is actually part of the dependent clause. I write it like this, though, to emphasize the presence and position of the subordinate conjunction. Note that you can have several dependent clauses. As long as you only have one independent clause, then it remains a complex sentence. The fourth and final sentence structure is compound complex. This requires at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. For example, my dog barks when the birds sing, but he likes my singing. In this sentence, my dog barks is an independent clause. One independent clause. The other independent clause is he likes my singing. That means when the birds sing is a dependent clause. I can change the order of the clauses without changing the meaning of the sentence. But when the dependent clause comes first, I need to put a comma after it. Notice that in the last sentence, my dog likes my singing, but when the birds sing, he barks. The dependent clause comes before the related independent clause. So it needs a comma, even though it's not the first clause in the sentence. The formula for this type of sentence begins to look confusing. But technically, you can have as many independent clauses and as many dependent clauses as you want in a compound complex sentence. Some people become famous for writing a whole page that's just one sentence, while others become famous for writing a whole story that's just 6 words. Once you know the rules, then you can become creative and use them to your advantage.